All right, everybody, welcome. Get in here, ladies and gentlemen. I think we've got plenty of opportunities for everybody to drop in here. This is a very special broadcast. What you guys are in for, I'm about to let you know, but I just want to make sure that everybody knows this is Saturday, January 10th, 9:47 p.m. Tehran time. I'm Pete Santilli. If you're catching me across all of our channels, we're lit up on everything that we have a stream going to. This is the first time, or give it a try, okay? I'm not going to self-censor. I'm broadcasting out to YouTube because I believe that everybody deserves, if you catch this broadcast, this is going to be one of the most important broadcasts I've ever done, okay? And I have several others that are coming, so I want you to make sure that you follow me. Are we doing okay? Thank you very much. Thank you. I want to make sure that you follow me on all of our channels. YouTube, if you get there, as a matter of fact, if you've got a YouTube channel, I'd appreciate it if you subscribe to us. It's brand new. We've been off, for years for many reasons that everyone knows. That we were deemed to be domestic terrorists and so on and so forth. All that stuff, cancel culture. Sometimes it's grueling to listen to the language that has to be used over there. I will not self-censor though. So if we get deleted or demonetized, I'll let you know. But we'll give it a whirl. I think I'll be able to behave myself. Best way to catch us, make sure you go to WKRPete.com. On X at Pete Santilli, and YouTube Santilli Report. All right. What we're going to do here, we've got breaking news. Of course, I would say that this is going to be the beginnings of a succession of days leading up to the eventual downfall. It's happening right now. The collapse of Iran. There's been several attempts since 1979, the Iranian Revolution, but there's been several attempts. Two significant ones I've been involved in directly, and I'll tell you about that. 2009 for the Green Revolution, I was directly involved as back then it was, I was a influencer with X, and that was previously Twitter. With Twitter, I was ranked among the top 30 Twitter users, had been the first person to get to 100,000 followers, and was delivering proxies because I was a little techie geek, per se, tech geek, that was able to get proxies to the Iranian revolutionaries in 2009. And it just so happens that I had inside knowledge that the U.S. government was helping to support that effort, and that was under Hillary Clinton's State Department. And what I discovered, I will share with you today. Now, Hillary Clinton, Barack Obama have been involved with Tehran, and I have factual proof of that. And I'm going to show that to you. Everything leading up to this moment in time where President Donald J. Trump, presiding over, as the 47th president of the United States, he's the lucky winner of this organic movement that's taking place right now in Iran. And the reason why I can say it's organic is the unorganic movements, like in 2009, was actually fueled and supported by the Central Intelligence Agency and the State Department, except they weren't working on the side of the Iranian revolutionaries. And I will disclose that. All right. Now, since then, President Trump, 45, was aware of some things that took place. And then, of course, as we know, he was out for 4 years. But during that time frame, a lot of investigations took place from 2020 onward. He was briefed. And I'm going to share this with you as well. I have everything documented on December 31st of 2023 about some things that you're going to find out about, and it involves documented proof that Obama and Hillary Clinton were not only behind the 2009 revolution, supporting the Iranian regime, but Hillary Clinton was documented to have been supplying highly specialized metal for the purposes of manufacturing nuclear centrifuges for the regime of Iran. In addition to that, she lifted the terror designation of Al-Qaeda in Iran, which is the Mujahideen al-Khalq. She lifted that terror designation in order to allow them to get funding. So she did that. She supplied metal for their centrifuge program. And as we know, the Obama administration was all about supporting the Iranian regime's nuclear program, JCPOA. We know that for the purposes of, possibly nuking. I don't know. Just pick a country's name in the Middle East that they would want to nuke. Israel. Israel. What I will say right out of the gates is no matter what anybody's saying out there, ladies and gentlemen, President Trump right now is establishing the Trump world order in favor of we the people. I'll make a case for that. He's not doing anything at the behest of Israel. In fact, if anything, he has already disclosed that it was the United States of America and the Obama regime that was actually fueling the Iranian regime's nuclear program, which put Israel in jeopardy. That's been disclosed to Israel. So it was our fault. Everything that you're seeing right now is from Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama with respect to the regime. Their entire nuclear program, the bombing of their nuclear program was all facilitated. Their nuke program was facilitated by the Obama regime, and we have proof of it. This has been a multi-year investigation. Very well documented, and you'll see that, okay? And President Trump was briefed, and the National Security Council was involved in digging even deeper on some things that were filtered or the gatekeepers prevented it from getting to President Trump prior to his administration. But as soon as they hit the ground, the attorneys sat down, started working on it, and that happened within days after the election in 2024. I have documented proof of all this, all right? This is an exclusive. Nobody, as far as I know, has any information like this for many different reasons that I'll share with you. Now let's do this. I'm gonna get fired up here. I was struggling a little bit getting our YouTube off the ground because there's different procedures for firing up YouTube, and our team in the background, just to make sure that we're doing okay. I can't look at it right now because I've got a lot of stuff going on. We're watching all the live feeds. The mainstream media is not going to be covering what I'm going to be covering. I will say this. I have been, over the past couple of years, briefing Alex Jones on multiple pieces of this. Had to get him, up to speed and vetted, and high-level people. He knows my sources, all the stories. He's been fully briefed on this. He will probably be at the tip of the spear of covering this when it finally comes down. But it is coming down. There is no doubt about it. If they start killing people in the streets as they did in 2009, it's not going to be because President Trump helped facilitate that. Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama did have a hand in shutting down the Green Revolution in 2009. I know that for an absolute fact. An absolute fact. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this stream. Here's what we're going to do. For starters, is we're going to, let's see, I've got different graphics and stuff like that, so I'm going to have to be fiddling periodically as we go. Let me put up my, there we go. Fantastic. Breaking news report. And I'll be covering, of course, we've got news on Venezuela as well. We've got news on Minnesota. We may touch on that stuff, but we've got a lot to cover, ladies and gentlemen, regarding the Iranian Revolution. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a brief review right now on our live feed. We've been, for the past 24 hours, catching every single post. So as it comes through within the past several hours here, as you know, there was a blackout in Iran. They did the same thing in 2009. They tried to not shut off the internet, but what they did was work with big tech to identify who the Iranian revolutionaries were, and they went out and killed them all. and they identified them through Twitter. Their GPS coordinates literally had one of a friend that they had made online. Her name was Neda. She was one of the Iranian revolutionaries in 2009. And when we got word they were shutting down and slowing down the internet, we got word she was shot and killed. Then we found out that hundreds of people were dropped. And it was because Twitter was providing, as a result of the proxies that we delivered, Twitter was providing the exact pinpointed address for all the Iranian revolutionaries. And they went out and killed them in the streets, and by the hundreds. Hillary Clinton set that up, and Barack Obama. And I know this because I was working with the State Department to get the proxies to them. They were encouraging it. We didn't know why, but we found out, we discovered it when everyone started dropping dead. President Trump is not going to be providing exact locations of the Iranian revolutionaries. I can absolutely assure you of that. Absolutely. No doubt about it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's take a look at some footage here. We've got revolutionaries on the ground. Now, take a look at the time. The time that I have in the bottom right-hand corner is 9:58 p.m. That's Tehran time, and there's the date, Saturday, January 10th, 9:58 p.m., and that will be updated as we go. So as I broadcast these, you see that this is a daylight shot that came in. There's some iconic imagery that I'll be sharing with you. This revolution is driven by the women. And let me tell you, as Fox News starting to cover the fact that the internet was shut down, and Elon Musk, one of the most important people on planet Earth, Elon Musk, no doubt about it, is one of the most important freedom fighters on planet Earth. I've been critical of him. I've been hard on him. I've, sometimes got caught up in some of the internet stuff, and that internet stuff is driven by people that can't have Elon Musk helping President Trump out. I'm done with that. I'm all in with Elon Musk's efforts, and all of you people that can criticize him up and down, you can just, have fun with that. Let me know how that goes. All right. Here is this iconic imagery, women burning, and the women behind this, okay, as you can imagine, the Islamist regime of Khomeini, the cult theocracy, has basically, for the purpose of inflicting authoritarianism upon its people since the 79, prior to 79, the regime was a Judeo-Christian country that was run by a monarchy, the Shah of Iran. The Shah of Iran left, Khomeini took seat, and everybody all of a sudden was in hijabs, burqas, and being beaten and threatened, and it's been going on for 50 years. The women, of course, the beautiful, beautiful women. And I've always said this, these are beautiful, beautiful souls, ladies and gentlemen. For 50 years, have been abused and oppressed. They're rising up now. They have zero fear. They're done with. They're not a Muslim country. They're stating they're burning down mosques. Iran is not a Muslim country. Iran and Christianity and freedom of expressing their religion, even if you're peace-loving Muslim, if that thing even exists. I mean, that's just Muslims are just communist slaves that are trying to propagate Sharia law throughout the world. They're done with Sharia law. They're done. The women are driving this. This is a significant moment right here. She's without her hijab. The morality police could literally beat her and put her in jail, but she's fearless of it. So that is an iconic image right there. We're going to skim through. And as I said, they're burning down mosques, okay? That is a very, very significant moment. Okay? Now, can we trust the imagery that's coming out of Iran? We can't. There's propaganda, both ways, serving both sides. So you could have AI imagery. You really don't know what to trust, but the visual representation right here, attached to my words, okay, is perfect because when you hear from the people of Iran in textual form, you hear that the women are behind. They're done. They're courageous. They believe that President Trump is. They have the backing of we the people through President Trump. And I'll tell you right now, I'm not about the forever wars. I'm all about making sure that the Iranian people are freed. Now you're going to discover here that. I'm going to say this. It's controversial. I have factual, documented proof, okay, that Israel was potentially a victim of a nuclear program that was helped and facilitated by Obama and Clinton. President Trump is not doing the bidding of anybody else. I'm going to tell you that right now. I have personal, firsthand knowledge and legal documentation of that, okay, that Obama and Clinton are the ones that put the country of Israel in jeopardy by helping Iran mullahs, okay? Because, Barack Obama is a Muslim Brotherhood supporter. He hates America, hates Israel, and here we are having to fight it out online. People thinking Israel's behind this. No, they're not. If you're believing that, then you just haven't seen what I'm about to present to you, okay? So I'm not trying to convince you of anything. I just know absolutely otherwise. I don't trust the anti-Israel people out there either. I fell into their trap for a long, long time. But as it relates to Iran, look at, they're already online saying, they're saying this one, it was presented that this was a Mossad agent that was throwing a Molotov cocktail, okay? Just a post, it's out there. I'm not going to censor the information. I'm just going to provide factual, documented proof that Israel is literally fighting for their lives because of the dangers they've been put in by Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton over many, many years. And I'll show that to you, okay? Okay. All right, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Okay. And sometimes if I do that, here's what I'm going to do. This is not going to be the best produced show. I'm going to be laying stuff out as we go. A lot of information is going to come to us live, and I'm just going to have a conversation with everybody as we go. It's 10:05 p.m. We're 5 minutes in or past the last time I told you what the actual time was in Tehran. As information comes, I'll be briefed. But as we go here, in between real-time events, I will be laying out a case here. You're going to be the best informed viewers on the internet. There is no other show or stream or anything like that that's going to be provided. Why do I say this to you? I just want you to feel good that you're on the right channel right now. Wait till you hear what I have to offer. All right. Try TVs. Let's do that. Okay. Yeah, we'll do that. All right. Pete Santilli Show graphics here as I switch. I have great information coming to you. Brave Iranians now openly in the streets flying their flag. It's such a beautiful scene. They have a flag, and it was the flag before the mullahs took over. Look at that, ladies and gentlemen. Flying their flag. The new one is the one with the lion. The lion versus now. If you're not familiar, not only is it a theocracy, but these are Mahdeists. Okay, they believe in the Antichrist, ushering in the Antichrist, the military as well as the regime. These are cult members. Everybody is aware of this, but they have oppressed their people. Iranian protesters here have burned the tomb of Khomeini. That's the tomb of Ayatollah Khomeini. Ayatollah Ruhollah, the bad guy. Absolutely incredible footage here. Now, ladies and gentlemen, as we bring you this footage live, real time, this stuff is coming into our feeds here, live in real time. We have an efficient way of doing that. As soon as something comes off the wire that we need you to know about, there's a lot of AI stuff out there too, by the way. We can enjoy that, I think. But we can also bring you footage like this. Watch this. That the IRCG is shown here, showing up and attacking protesters, shooting them. Not a good thing. Now, this all has to be vetted, obviously, by our intelligence sources on the ground. Because President Trump is not going to launch bombers into Iran. Everybody, just keep in mind, I'm gonna ask everybody, if you're on YouTube, you need to get to WKRP.com across the bottom of the screen there. WKRP.com. You can click all of our other links. You can find us on Rumble. We'll never be deleted from Rumble, because years ago when I got deleted from Rumble because I said ivermectin and hydroxychloroquine, I started before. I was the first live streamer on Rumble, believe it or not. Me and Jeremy Harrell as well. But we've never had one post taken down, no warnings ever, no censorship. So rumble.com, you can find me, The Pete Santilli Show. That's a secure way to find us. But something happens, you're disconnected, Facebook, whatever. I mean, these freaking leftist, Maoist platforms, you can't even speak on YouTube. So that's stupid. I'll get deleted because I said something like, oh, I said gun. They'll be like, oh, you can't speak gun on YouTube. I'm going to say gun. Gun, 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 gun. I'm not advocating for violence because I'm referring to my freaking muscles, right? Anyways, I digress. And I will do that, by the way, every once in a while, not go off the rails. I just need to get myself set up here. Let me go to our chat room right now, because I'm going to want your commentary as we go as well. Your feedback is going to be important. I'm about to play something deep research. And if you guys know, Millie Weaver, Gavin Wentz, our team at QUX, we've been, for many years, deeply investigating the deep state, have forensic evidence of everything that we're going to be presenting here. Today, I'm presenting stuff about Iran. Millie Weaver covered some things as to the technocracy that was involved in Iran years back. I'm going to be playing that for you in just a couple of minutes here. But let me get to our studio and go in the chat room. I didn't even have it opened up because I was struggling with some of the other platforms here. Let's see. What is that supposed to mean, Angie? What is what supposed to mean? What are we talking about? Oh, see, I shouldn't be in the chat room, but I will be. Didn't know Pete had to, what? Paige just thought it was only on LFA. I've been doing this since 2011, and I've been providing content to LFA streaming Monday through Friday. Absolutely. As a matter of fact, next week, the way it shapes up, if they can get me off and running, I'll be broadcasting right after Rumble Rundown, providing content on LFA TV. So, I mean, I will be with LFA TV always, but I've been an independent broadcaster since 2011. Not distancing myself at all. Just somebody said, I didn't know. Well, you do know. Literally canceled. Just wanted to make sure. Okay, we don't have the YouTube chat in there, but I will figure that out. So hello, everyone. Okay. On our YouTube studio, I can see you over there at Locals, over at Rumble. And if you're on our X page, strap yourselves in, folks. Okay? I'm going to tell you that right now. What you're about to hear and see, we're going to begin with one thing. We're just going to go back about 4 or 5 years with a piece that was done on Alex Jones's InfoWars. Believe it or not. I say believe it or not because Millie Weaver was actually the reporter that covered it. And Alex Jones is doing a quick refresher, and I've been getting him up to speed with the stuff that we're going to be covering here. But let me get to that YouTube broadcast. Oh, can you imagine if they shut me down? Because I'm re-streaming Millie Weaver's, who's actually obviously very, very close to Millie Weaver. Look at that. That's the first time exclusive breaking news. You've never, ever, ever heard what I'm about to broadcast today. So you guys stay put. Stay there. And if you're sitting there saying, get to the news.
Did you catch President?
Okay. Did you catch? This has to do with Space Force, ladies and gentlemen. Space Force. President Trump knows everything that I'm going to be relaying to you. I am playing to set the stage here, okay? I'm playing this entire segment here because it's very, very important. I'm not going to be discussing all of the details that are going to be presented here, but you need to know what President Trump knows, okay? What President Trump knows. It'll make a lot of sense to you as we go, all right? Millie Weaver and InfoWars. Without further ado, I'm going to play the entire, it's a 15-minute segment because you must know everything that's contained in this. You must. Thank you, Alex Jones, for making it available to the world. It didn't make sense back then, but it certainly will now.
Did you catch President Trump's New Year's resolution, or did you miss it?
Ignition, liftoff. Good silence, to Falcon, Space Force inaugural launch.
While New York was posturing with China and the European Union during the New Year's celebration, a major game change was about to take place, derailing something that has been in place for a very long time.
Stage separation confirmed.
And there is stage separation and second engine start. You can see that second engine on your right screen.
The declassification of the NRO in 1999 revealed a back channel that gave the executive branch additional protections from potential coup operations stemming from the intelligence community. A hidden chain of command within the intelligence community and continuity of government structure at the president's disposal. 9/11 allowed a separate chain of command to set up, creating a more formidable deep state shadow government built around perpetual continuity of government national emergencies.
We take the continuity of government issue very seriously. I have an obligation as the president, and my administration has an obligation to the American people to put measures in place that should somebody be successful in an attack in Washington, D.C., there's an ongoing government.
Within this shadow government chain of command is the alternative command and control that is carrying out a coup against President Trump. Other agencies, some within the intelligence community, are part of a counter-coup operation. The deep state is aligned with globalization, the European Union, and certain other union deals with China, Russia, and the rest of the world. The counter-coup operation is protecting America First policies, seeing globalization as a threat to American sovereignty. Operatives like John Brennan work towards globalization by merging national interests into international interests, merging intelligence gathering from a national security interest into an international interest, outsourcing national intelligence to a privatized intelligence syndicate of overseas corporations. Insert Global Strategies Group. This shadow government would also have to have mechanisms, coups, assassinations, impeachments, etc., to protect itself in the event a real president gets elected and tries to eliminate or dismantle the deep state. For the president to get around the coup, for a counter-coup to be successful, an alternative chain of command had to be set up. Notice Trump staying in Mar-a-Lago? Notice the White House has been being redecorated, a little debugging perhaps. And then there was this.
Tension rods released and payload deploy confirmed.
Oh yeah, the day before World War III was supposedly breaking out, Space Force launched a curious payload that coincidentally went directly over Ukraine, Turkey, and Iraq. Of all places, just hours before the Iranian missile attack launched. For President Trump to get around the deep state coup operation, he had to create Space Force, a public face to a more OG back channel designed to protect the interests of the United States and the president from the intelligence community, aka Swamp Creature number 1. Not only was there a perceived versus actual situation versus a continuity of government alternative situation, but an even deeper than that magical situation. Several tells exist in the public that point this out. 17 intelligence agencies supposedly signed off on the 2016 Russia election interference story.
We have 17 intelligence agencies, civilian and military, who have all concluded that these espionage attacks, these cyber attacks, come from the highest levels of the Kremlin, and they are designed to influence our election.
This turned out to be false, and the mainstream media had to issue retractions and fire people. Remember?
As you know, the IC was a coordinated product from 3 agencies, CIA, NSA, and the FBI, not all 17 components of the intelligence community.
Only the CIA, FBI, and NSA went along with this Russia election interference story. Not to forget, these same 3 agencies also went along with the false yellow cake.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, strap yourselves in, okay? There's a reason for this. And as I start to archive this, this will become eventually the biggest news story on planet Earth. There's some details here. There are details in this video that were provided for, I will say, a very good team behind Millie Weaver and InfoWars. The highest levels of the U.S. Air Force, intelligence community, good guys, okay? There has been a counter coup going on. It's taken a long time to get to this point, okay? You're going to hear about Iran. This information you're about to hear, they did not want out there, and it's going to materialize itself. I'll be going back to this at a later date when it makes better sense. You need to just consume the information and file it, and it'll make sense here as we go.
Excuse to go to war with Iraq. Remember that one?
Saddam Hussein recently sought significant quantities of uranium from Africa.
We know it was a danger.
First, if there really was foreign interference in the election, then why didn't the Department of State's Bureau of Intelligence and Research provide a footnote? Second, why wasn't the Defense Intelligence Agency involved? Why wasn't the National Intelligence Council involved? All of these are signs that there was nothing there. By the way, the FBI is not an intelligence agency. They really are law enforcement, so only 2 intelligence agencies were actually involved in the Russia collusion story, the CIA and the NSA. If the Russia collusion story was real, there would have been footnotes from every intelligence agency involved, and since we don't have any footnotes, well, we know it's fake. But if it's fake, why didn't the other 15 intelligence agencies make public statements? Because they would have had to unmask themselves to do so. Most of these other agencies gather information only, not conduct law enforcement. So, if the DOJ has its hands tied up or is corrupt, then all these guys can do is sit with their mouths shut, watching everything happen in slow motion, with their top secret Q clearances caught in a wedge. Hence, Space Force. By creating an additional branch of the military, Trump now has remedy, and it sure has pissed off the establishment.
Today, we will make history. When the managers walk down the hall, they will cross a threshold in history, delivering articles of impeachment against the President of the United States for abuse of power and obstruction of the House.
I said the president has a New Year's resolution. A resolution to our Middle East problem.
President Trump is a great deal maker, by his own account and many others. Let's work together to replace the JCPOA and get the Trump deal instead.
To set up a new back channel in the Middle East, the Trump administration had to remove the old ones that stood in the way, those that played a key role in laundering U.S. foreign aid, those that supplied weapons to proxies, terrorists, and militant groups, those that help Iran get around sanctions, and those that were a threat to U.S. personnel, allies, and assets. Then it started.
At the Internet Intel Group of Oracle, he commented, he said that this was something that he hadn't seen before, saying that this was arguably the largest ever event for Iran when it comes to internet dropping.
There was an interesting internet blackout, cutting off certain intelligence assets in the region from being able to use the internet.
Cloudflare, they noted their own data, and they said that it shut down progressively by service providers on November 16th.
Usually, like, me personally, I use WhatsApp or, even Skype or some of these other apps like Viber, but all of these apps are not, people can't access them right now.
Forcing them to use satellite communications. Then the internet came back on with new security protocols set up, aka the deep state just got cut off from communication with local operations because some you-know-what was about to kick off.
New Year's Eve, thousands of pro-Iran protesters stormed the U.S. Embassy in Baghdad. The next day, Iraqi forces...
All right, now, what does this have to do with Iran? All right. You'll notice, ladies and gentlemen, we don't know the answer to this, okay? The internet has been turned off. Starlink was turned on. Okay, the revolution is a very well-organized effort here, obviously, to turn it on like that and provide free services so they can still get information out. Consider this. All of their communications on the ground, helping the, Obama, Clinton, CIA people communicating with the mullahs, and then factor in this, that President Trump is he's in control of all the satellite communications through Space Force. Listen closely. Listen closely. It matters. Because what I'm about to present to you is he is very, very well aware of who Obama and Clinton are and how they've been supporting this regime that he's going head-to-head with. Don't listen to anybody say, Israel, Trump's working for Israel. That's the dumbest thing you could ever say. I'm going to show you documentation proving otherwise.
along with U.S. Marines, worked together to secure the area and disperse the protest. On Thursday night, General Qasem Soleimani, a high-profile Iranian general, is killed by a U.S. airstrike at Baghdad International Airport. Soleimani led the Quds Force under Iran's Revolutionary Guard, which is widely believed to support terrorist groups.
This is why the media, some Democrats, and some hawkish Republicans escalated the public response to the situation with hysteria, believing that either World War III was about to kick off as a result of Trump killing Soleimani, or that the U.S. needed to retaliate militarily to Iran's missile attack.
There will be a revenge. There will be a harsh revenge.
But when and how and aimed at which targets? And the White House?
We will respond.
Amid the escalating tensions, the U.S. is deploying thousands more troops.
The deep state knew they were about to lose control of their assets in Iran, and that Trump was setting up a new back channel that excluded their intelligence networks.
Chuck Schumer aides tell me he didn't get a heads up about this before it happened, neither did other top leaders. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi condemned the president's actions.
And all of this is unfolding in the middle of the debate over the president's impeachment trial in the Senate.
The president wanted to distract from his impending impeachment with a military strike, taking out a quote-unquote bad guy in the Middle East.
We're just getting reports now that a second wave of rocket attacks have been launched.
We're just getting a statement from Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps saying that it has hit the U.S. Ain al-Assad air base in Iraq.
He was saying that Ayatollah Khamenei, the supreme leader of this country, was in the control center coordinating these attacks.
With what they describe as tens of missiles. This, according to Press TV, an urgent banner on Iranian television.
30 U.S. soldiers have been killed in this attack. Now, this is not confirmed. This is just coming from Iranian media.
We could be on the brink of a major conflict across the Middle East.
But we have just stepped over the precipice, Chris. We have entered a very unpredictable time. We have to see what the response is going to be from the United States.
This is wag the dog right in front of our faces, right?
But then one of our really good sources got a hold of us, and we watched the hysteria unfold on Twitter as something else magical appeared to happen in the background. Apparently, these are old photos. Look at all these missiles that didn't detonate. We happened to be watching live time the flight tracker in the area, noting that at the same time as the alleged missile attack, there was also a lot of air traffic along the Iranian-Iraqi border. What the heck? How could World War III be breaking out, missiles flying everywhere, U.S. troops being deployed, people dying everywhere? Meanwhile, international flights are unimpeded? Come on.
We're just getting a statement from Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps.
Wag the dog much, CNN? Notice this big X marks the spot no-go zone in the middle? Our attention was drawn to an aircraft that stood out.
For the first time tonight, this. What appears to be the moment that 737 is hit by a missile. The American intelligence community is confident, a U.S. official confirms to ABC, that Iran turned on a radar aimed at the jetliner, which would guide anti-aircraft missiles from a mobile launcher. A U.S. satellite then captured the firing of two missiles at the 737, which was less than 5,000 feet off the ground. The warheads of those missiles would explode near the aircraft, blowing into bits of shrapnel that would pierce the aircraft in multiple locations.
Ladies and gentlemen, again, I'm pausing briefly, all right? I'm laying out this 5 years ago. InfoWars covered this, all right? Millie Weaver, her team, Alex Jones knows what kind of sourcing they have. I'm with that same exact team now and have been for since 2017, dating all the way back to that point. You need to know that as soon as I finish this video, I'm going to show you proof that the Iranian regime of Khomeini was a proxy for the CIA, Hillary Clinton, Barack Obama, and John Kerry. Documented. Legal proof. Legal proof.
The evidence indicates that the plane was shot down by an Iranian surface-to-air missile.
We were given a list of passengers aboard the aircraft. Our attention was drawn to several names of individuals who worked with a particular company, very similar to Global Strategies Group, in tactics, outsourcing operations during political instability, current business climate in Ukraine, and beyond. Wow, based on this company's online profile, they were the perfect people for managing the kind of crisis that was unfolding and the kind of continued crisis, one that would have gone expected had the situation gone the way the media said it was. Oh wait, the plane they were on happened to be shot down by the IRGC. So I guess we will never know why so many Canadian, Ukrainian, Iranian dissidents, private intelligence assets, field operators, and contractors were fleeing on a flight to the Ukraine so quickly after a failed attempt by someone at escalating a war between Iran and the United States. I don't know about you, but I don't think I'd be hopping onto an aircraft, going to Ukraine of all places, fleeing a war zone right after missiles were being launched. Just saying. Unless you knew if you stuck around, they were likely going to find out that you were behind something nefarious and you needed to get out of Dodge. Right? I mean, if staying was worse than trying to flee, then maybe you'd want to flee during a missile launch. Needless to say, when the smoke cleared, the Iranians wanted to de-escalate and declared their retaliation over. A straight-up white flag for all intent and purposes. DEFCON and other military command centers tweeted out to ignore the hysteria. Iran was no longer a threat, and we were at DEFCON level 5. It was as though the whole thing was a drill. And in a way, it was because it allowed us to see who the real fake news media was.
This is Wag the dog right in front of our faces, right?
But it also served as cover while a new command and control system was set up.
The way we found this out, we'll never tell anybody because it was magical and we're not going to compromise it.
And the deep state shadow government was cut off from its biggest Middle East proxy, Iran.
There's anger at the government on the streets in Tehran. Pockets of protest after Iran...
Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something. I have to give all due credit where credit is due. It originated at InfoWars. Millie Weaver's team is unmatched with sources at the highest level of the good guys, the white hats, of intelligence and military intelligence, Air Force, so on and so forth. They were just really actually above and beyond the military as far as highest resources. The stuff that's contained in here, okay, this has been in the archives, hasn't been pulled out until this moment right here. They never wanted anybody to know about this information. You are the first ones to be revisiting this. It'll make sense when everything comes undone. As soon as I finish this, I'm going to show you documented proof that President Trump has been briefed about all of this stuff over the years, okay?
Military admitted it accidentally shot down a civilian plane.
Remember, I'm listener supported, so please go to InfoWarsStore.com to support my work. Take advantage of some of the great deals and the great products we have available so you can both help take care of your own health and help us fight the info war. You can also go to Millie Weaver on Subscribe Star to support me directly if you choose to.
Although Millie's not there anymore.
Thank you so much, and I can't wait to give you my next video.
When it comes to rebuilding your energy, convenience is key. While coffee, candy, and other sugary products can give you a short boost, the crash can leave you more tired than ever. Turbo Force from InfoWars Life is a powerful mix-in energy packet that utilizes vitamins, amino acids, and extracts used for hundreds of years to provide you focus, clarity, and a boost of energy on the go.
That we gave credit to Alex Jones, okay? Because this story originated there, okay? All right, here we go. Look at that. All right, we've got breaking news. Let me cover a breaking news report here. Hold on a second. What do we have? We do have breaking news that just came to us here. We're going to go to that. 2C TV is actually a great resource for us. Let me go to my bookmarks because we didn't even save it. We just want to bring this directly to you. So everybody stand by. We got breaking news out of Iran from 2C TV. Is that in bookmarks? It's not in bookmarks, team. Word is that Khomeini and his family have been cited in Moscow. Cited in Moscow. Let me find out if I have this here. Oh, there it is, 2C TV. Wow. Well, I think we have video, ladies and gentlemen. I was going to say we have to be very, very cautious. We have to be very cautious about where we get this information. Here we have from 2C TV video. I can't imagine. Let's see. Islamic Republic of Iran's Ayatollahs and their families spotted at an airport in Moscow. They are fleeing Iran. This is a video. We don't know who these people are. So this is, I'm going to have to say, unverified. I can't imagine, ladies and gentlemen, although 2C TV, they're good. They've been doing a great job over the past couple of weeks. So as far as that's concerned, I'm going to say that they're doing an excellent job. But we cannot, normally people with diplomatic immunity, they don't get dumped out on the front porch. You know what I mean? So this is kind of hard to believe that these are mullahs, okay, waiting for their Uber. I don't believe that, tell you the truth, because they're going to have special access that most of us little people don't, okay? But there you have it. That's information, a lot of war propaganda that's going to be put out there. All right, now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to show you a document here, all right? And before I get to that, I need to speed up this process, okay? Because I know you guys are get to the news, right? You want the scoop. So October of 2017, I was a political prisoner, the Bundy Ranch stuff, all that stuff. Just that all aside. That's why I've been involved in this investigation, have a lot of knowledge. But October of 2017, when I got out, I picked up the phone and I contacted somebody. That's what set off what you're about to hear. His name is Congressman Steve Stockman. Congressman Steve Stockman. I'm going to go right to the attachment in this document first to show you what I'm talking about here. Here we go. I'm going to show you the attachment and why Congressman Steve Stockman was the one who set off this entire set of events leading up to what's going on in Iran today, and that's a fact. Stand by. Hold on. I'm not doing music because, we're on that platform over there. We don't want to get shut down. Can't do it. We don't need music. We don't need all of the fanfare. All right. Let me go to Stockman's letter here. As soon as I bring that up, then we're off and running. Paul Ogden. There it is. All right, fantastic. So the Bundy Ranch story, okay? Not Paul Ogden. Docket report. Hold on. Stand by. Like I said, this has to be done in this particular way. So it'll all make sense. Where's the Stockman letter? I have it. Congressman Steve Stockman is on our side. He was involved during his tenure as congressperson in major investigations. But how I got connected to him is that when the Bundy Ranch protests were taking place in 2014, on his letterhead, when we were all scooped up in 2016, he put out a notification that said that the U.S. government under the Bureau of Land Management was operating lawlessly. And so he stepped out on our behalf to advocate for us. So when I came out in October of 2017, I picked up the phone to call him to thank him for doing that, because the laws that he cited were used in helping us defend in our case. His wife had answered the phone when I contacted him, and she said, I'm very sorry, Mr. Santilli, but he's not available. He's in jail. And I'm laughing because I'm like, okay, he's in jail too? And she said, yes, because he as well is a political prisoner. There it is. Okay, here it is, folks. Here we go. And it's in the same document, so I won't be fiddling. Here we have that original document. I'm just going to set the stage here real quick, all right? April 15th of 2014, the Bundy Ranch incident, the protest took place. April 12th of 2014, he immediately stepped out as a congressperson, House of Representatives, and wrote a letter to the Department of Interior Secretary, the President of the United States, and the Director of the Bureau of Land Management. And he had the authority to do that. Although the BLM, the Bureau of Land Management, announced last weekend that it was standing down in its ongoing dispute with the Bundy family in Nevada, many sources are reporting that the Bureau of Land Management is ramping up its presence in the area. Because of this standoff, I've looked into BLM's authority to conduct such paramilitary raids against American citizens. It appears the BLM is acting in lawless manner in Nevada. As the federal government processes only limited enumerated powers and does not have the right to assume peremptory police powers, that role being reserved to the states. This has to do with Minnesota, by the way. We'll get back to that at a later date. But many federal laws require the federal government to seek assistance from local law enforcement whenever the use of force may become necessary. And here it is right here. Because of 43 USC section 1733, all right? That law that he cited in that letter days after the Bundy Ranch protests is the reason why I contacted Congressman Steve Stockman to thank him. Then finding out that they had pursued him just like they did us. Made him a political prisoner because of the following. You ready? Ladies and gentlemen, let me open this up. Give me just a second here. You ready? I'm going to open it up wide here. Attorney Peter Tickton is the one that made this happen, okay? As a result of now 2017, I started working with Congressman Steve Stockman. You're going to hear his voice. Ladies and gentlemen, I was part of an investigation with Congressman Steve Stockman to get out vital information from his jail cell with him on a burner phone to get to the President of the United States. It was blocked every step of the way. And then finally, here it is. Here's the date. Finally, by December 31st of 2023, this letter right here was delivered to President Donald J. Trump by Peter Tickton on New Year's Eve. And this was the brief that I provided to him regarding Stockman, Lev Parnas, and I'm just going to show you all of the attachments. I'm going to skim through, and I'll tell you what it's all about, all right? Executive summary, salient points, okay? With all of the attachments, I'm going to skim through, including Congressman Stockman's letter, all right? All of the attachments. When I say it's legally certified, I have transcripts, all right? And here is the page that we're looking for. Congressman Stockman told me that that he had evidence that Hillary Clinton violated Iran sanctions, also with her campaign was trying to drum up dirt against President Trump, fabricate it through Congressman Stockman's Ukraine intelligence contacts in Ukraine. This is important. Because Ukrainian oligarch Viktor Pinchuk, okay, owned a company called Interpipe. Interpipe manufactured the steel, highly specialized steel, to be used for Iran's centrifuges. Hillary Clinton, Viktor Pinchuk out of Ukraine violated sanctions and shipped highly specialized steel to Iran for the purposes of building out their nuclear program. It was authorized by Barack Obama, violated sanctions. She was never held to account, and Congressman Steve Stockman caught her, all right? And then contacted the Financial Intelligence Division of the Department of Treasury. This is what he told me when he was on a burner phone. You're going to hear his voice in a minute. But he wrote the letter. It's documented. It's in the Department of Treasury. Scott Bessent had all of this information in the Treasury, all right? Document summary, contract 2311, June 16th of 2011. Contract between Interpipe Ukraine and Interpipe FZE in Dubai. Interpipe Ukraine, the seller of Interpipe, the buyer. Co-signers, Interpipe, so on and so forth. Here are the receipts. Here are the contracts. This is where you go look. The stuff was shipped. Here are the exact amounts and who actually did it. And he became a whistleblower with the Department of Treasury and filed these documents with the government. The Ministry of Taxation and Revenue, Ukraine letter, August 2014, commission agreements, all provided for by Congressman Steve Stockman. All right? You guys got me? Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton have been under investigation for quite a while, okay? Never being held to account, using Iran like a proxy, right, in the proxy war against outfits like Israel to build up Iran's nuclear programs, to sabotage the JCPOA, to overthrow President Trump's candidacy in Ukraine with whistleblowers telling Congressman Steve Stockman what they were doing to dig up dirt on the payroll of Hillary Clinton way back when. So shipping stuff to Iran, trying to overthrow President Trump, all happening out of the CIA's money laundering machine known as Ukraine. And Congressman Steve Stockman caught them. And when he did, they said, oh, we got you for campaign finance violations. You can't go back to Ukraine. The day he was supposed to go back, they arrested him, took him to jail, and he basically was stuck there. All right. October of 2017, that was the first time that we were able to get this information out to the world. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to play those recordings, ladies and gentlemen. You ready? Listen very closely. Listen very closely.
Set, go.
Okay, so the time of this call is...
this is Deb.
10:50 p.m. Eastern.
Ladies and gentlemen, I was out. I was not supposed to be speaking to him. This was a matter of national security. I kind of skirted a little bit. Ultimately, Congressman Stockman, as a result of all this work, President Trump pardoned him. You guys can go look it up, all right? But that's why you're hearing Deb's voice.
And today is October the 3rd, 2019. I'm speaking with Congressman Steve Stockman, and he has a statement.
Well, I want to say that I really appreciate all the work that you guys have done. And in that vein, I released hold on a second. I'm doing a radio show. Oh, well.
He's in a jail cell, ladies and gentlemen, on a burner phone.
Hold on a second. They're playing music in the back. Can you hear it? Is that being picked up?
No, it's not loud at all. No, we can hear you loud and clear. Yep.
All right, let me do it one more time there. 1, 2, 3. I turned over some of the information and actually filed a letter to the Obama administration about Hillary Clinton selling steel to Iran. And what it turns out is their approval for it. She was the Secretary of State. And what happened was it was one of her largest donors to her nonprofit. The steel company was out of Houston, Texas. I gave the name and all the documents to the administration. At that point, everybody that read it couldn't believe it or understand it, and it was released to to, I believe it was Newsweek. Since then, I repeatedly tried to expose this. I was I guess technically I was a whistleblower, but the press and everybody ignored it. But it should have been investigated, and the connection pay for play is quite alarming. There's also I went and visited Ukraine right after the revolution at the Maidan, and made friends with both the government officials and with some of the revolutionaries. And it was quite dramatic. A lot of people got killed by the Russians, and a lot of animosity towards the leaders that were in power that got overthrown. Hey, I got to go. Bye.
Very dramatic in the first call. All right. Very dramatic in the first call. This is important, ladies and gentlemen. This is a worldwide exclusive, okay? This is being laid out. Nobody else has this information. President Trump does, of course. But now let me share with you what he was referring to with the Newsweek article, all right? Let me just show it to you real quick. Here it is. In Newsweek, Hillary Clinton's big benefactor has trade links with Iran, and this was dated all the way back to April of 2015. Enemies of Hillary Clinton waiting to discredit her bid for the White House are likely to seize on news that one of the biggest benefactors to the Clinton Foundation has been trading with Iran and may be in breach of U.S. sanctions imposed on the country. Ukrainian oligarch Viktor Pinchuk, 54, courted the Clintons for at least 9 years in the United States, the Alps, and Ukraine. Earlier this year, he was confirmed as the largest individual contributor to the Clinton Foundation, whose aims include the creation of economic opportunity and growth. He also has links to Tony Blair Foundation and represented its biggest single donor. The fourth richest man in Ukraine, Pinchuk, owns Interpipe Group, a Cyprus-incorporated manufacturer of seamless pipes used in oil and gas sectors. And here it goes on to mention that Congressman Steve Stockman, right? Hold on a second. U.S. authorities can also penalize non-American companies, so on and so forth. I think it mentions in here, Congressman Stockman's documents were verified, as I just showed you. Both Interpipe and the office of Viktor Pinchuk deny violating the regime sanctions placed on Iran. Now, I'm going to ask you something here. As you are in, and I'm going to our Rumble studio feed right now, are you guys following along? This is not complex, is it? This is not complex. This is a worldwide exclusive. I'm piecing this together right now. President Trump has known about it. I'm going to go back to it. You heard Congressman Steve Stockman provided all the information, the documentation, as well as a whistleblower with the U.S. Treasury, providing the receipts on everything that ended up in this article on Newsweek in 2015. He started with that. Is you're following? Patriotic Lady says. You guys, I need you, please know that since dating all the way back, lives have been in danger, okay? I'm going to play more of Congressman Steve Stockman. He was almost Epstein during this event here as we were relaying the information out. Now, as soon as I finish playing Congressman Steve Stockman, you don't want to go away because guess what, ladies and gentlemen? As I got this information to President Trump's attorney, Rudy Giuliani, Rudy Giuliani's assistant was a Ukraine expert, right? Because he was helping investigate. And the person that was his investigator, when he received this information, to deliver it to Rudy Giuliani, all the proof, the emails, all of that, within 3 days afterwards, that when I contacted him, he was arrested by the DOJ, thrown in jail. And that is bombshell information because right now, ladies and gentlemen, that information is down in Florida for the grand conspiracy case because they spied on President Trump's calls with Rudy Giuliani. And we have proof of it, documented. And it relates to all of this stuff you're seeing about Iran. Okay, here's the next one.
They put me in Oklahoma City. They pulled me out, put me in solitary, and then put a killer, a murderer, who had been in the hole for 30 months in with me.
Yes.
For my safety, they said.
Yes, of course. Yes. And that's my main concern right now. Yes.
Well, they were trying to Epstein me.
Yes, sir. And you're laughing about that, but this is a very serious thing.
Yeah, well, it's not the first time
You know, I'd like, if you could, I have the recording running right now. Whatever you say, I'll get it transcribed, and I'll get that message to Mr. Giuliani. All right?
All right, and forgive me, the names and places and things aren't going to be 100% because I don't have my notes in front of me. But I was on I traveled many times around the world I was on the House Foreign Affairs Committee, and actually had been involved in politics for about 47 years, actually 48. And I traveled to different countries, to Egypt right after and to Tahrir Square. I was in Egypt. Then I also went to the Maidan, which is the central part of Kiev, and got to know the revolutionaries and some of the people, the government officials that helped overthrow the government. And I also got to be really good friends with several of the intelligence agencies. And that's where I learned about Hillary Clinton dealing with an oligarchy, Ukraine oligarch. And I don't have the name in front of me, but I can get you the name. And she helped facilitate the selling of specialized steel out of a company north of Houston. It's specialized steel, dual use, and was not permitted under normal sanctions to go to Ukraine. Because as I understand it, now this is from what someone told me, it's used in centrifuges, which makes, to increase the strength of the plutonium. So the other information I had was I got to be really good friends with the Ukrainian intelligence officer at the embassy, and a younger guy, not my age, really great guy, and he was pretty much neutral, or kind of leaning towards a Republican at that time for the election. But when Manafort got hired on, the Ukraine embassy, well, frankly, a lot of Ukrainians freaked out because Manafort was seen as the one who put in the leadership, along with Poindexter. The two of them helped put in the Russian puppet into the government. So they felt obligated to help Hillary, and he went to go work.
Ladies and gentlemen, what you're hearing right now, okay? Rudy Giuliani got all of this information to be delivered to President Trump. The person it was delivered through was the Ukraine expert, Lev Parnas. He was indicted, scooped up, and pressured, and flipped to work for Joe Biden. This has all been vetted. It's all documented. I'm going to show it to you. It's all documented that President Trump was briefed, not only briefed on it, it was vetted, but Congressman Steve Stockman was pardoned by President Trump.
Hillary. Long story short, I mean,
you guys can go look that up. This is everything leading up to what we're seeing right now. We need to let the Iranian revolutionaries know. We need to push information out that not only is President Trump going to protect you from being shot by Obama's, Clinton's proxy regime known as Khomeini in the current regime, but he has been working for this moment for many years. For many years. You will be a free people. The oil proceeds will not be going to Khomeini. You do not have to wear your hijab. You can be a Christian in Iran and the proceeds of oil will go to the people. Is it about oil? You bet your bottom dollar it's all about oil, and we'll talk about that as well. Iranian oil to the people. Saudi Arabian oil. If you buy some of that, buy it with U.S. dollars. Venezuelan oil to the people. Drill, baby, drill in the U.S. to the people. We will have absolute global dominance of the oil machine for the benefit of we the people, and President Trump is doing it right now.
We kept meeting. I think it was the Mayflower we'd meet at. Long story short, he ended up working for Hillary, and then the Ukrainian government, of course, was now angry at him, and so he had to flee Ukraine, and then he felt bad about Trump. Now, giving you background, I worked with Nancy Captor, and we talked with the House Appropriations, and I got the funding. I think it was around $400 million for Ukraine, and it was lethal aid. We finally got that passed, and it was Obama who stopped the lethal aid to Ukraine. It was kind of ironic they're accusing Trump of that when, in fact, Obama refused to give the lethal aid, which, by the way, one of the main things they wanted was these specialized missiles, which Trump, and ironically, it was Trump that ended up allowing to have those. I can't remember, they're like harpoons or something. I can't remember, but they're excellent for killing tanks. And so they were, after the election, Trump did that. They were like super grateful and realized what a mistake it was to believe that Trump was anti-Ukraine. This election really is about 2016 and making sure that doesn't happen again in 2020. And Trump needs to emphasize that. In order to avoid the errors of the future, you must look back and investigate. The Democrats had no problem.
By the way, this is a senior U.S. Congressman, Steve Stockman, one of the most influential in Congress, speaking to me on a burner phone. As we're cataloging this for Rudy Giuliani to pass on to the president of the United States.
Investigating Russia. Why do they have a problem investigating Ukraine? It's because their hands are very dirty with Ukraine, and they're deeply involved with a lot of the corruption in Ukraine. I learned that. But the intelligence officer that I know would probably benefit from hearing from you guys. And the other thing is Texas, this is a tangential thing, which I may send some documents. But I've been doing campaigns for a long time, and I ran in a district that had 6 Democrats for every Republican, and yet I won the seat. I know Texas, and right now Obama has poured in millions of dollars into Texas. In fact, he got $10 million from Jeff Bezos, and Obama's personal secretary is running the nonprofit that's registering voters in Texas, and then the vice chair of Emily's List is running the program, which is registering voters in Texas. So it's a very concentrated effort. Their hope is that if they win Texas, of course, they don't need to worry about the blue wall. The other thing is that in order to circumvent the committee, we need to overload the news cycles. So we constantly need to do things which upset the news cycles. And to that end, you need to generate different news headlines, which I think if you keep that up, you'll bump off the whole impeachment thing off because they've got such a weak argument. And if you come out with the information, which I already sent you regarding the missiles, with the steel, that can already help you if you release that information and get it.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, so that was, and I'll be playing more calls. I have not only the entire transcript, all right, but I have the briefing that was provided to President Donald J. Trump delivered by, because it was, oh my goodness, it was such a freaking nightmare. It was such a nightmare. And now I have this unredacted because Peter Tickton Law Group, he puts this information out publicly, pt@legalbrains.com, the Tickton Law Group. He had me prepare this brief about Congressman Stockman, all right? And I said, as I mentioned, the reason Mr. Stockman's information has recently become relevant, and in my opinion, urgently so for President Trump, is due to recent remarks about Rudy Giuliani's former associate, Lev Parnas. And it was from his testimony in the impeachment hearings during the Biden impeachment inquiry hearing on December 26, 2023. All right. Excerpt of Raskin's remarks. In the attached summary, you will discover that Lev Parnas was used, ladies and gentlemen, as a surveillance tool by the deep state to spy on communications between President Trump and his attorney, Rudy Giuliani, ladies and gentlemen. Do you guys understand? Somebody's saying amazing. Nobody has this information. President Trump has this information, and they stopped it from getting to him. I'm going to tell you something right now. One of our nation's greatest patriots on planet Earth is this man right there. Write it down. He will be in the history books forever because there's other things that I've worked with him on over the years. That Peter Tickton, because he went to the military academy with President Trump, he's a trusted advisor of President Trump. That's why he was able to show up there on December 31st and deliver it personally to President Donald J. Trump, because he was being blocked from getting this information to him. I'll discuss that with you momentarily. All right. But we caught them. So Lev Parnas was literally lit up on a FISA warrant by the deep state. The deep state listened to all of Rudy Giuliani's and President Trump's telephone calls, and we caught them, and they admitted it in open court. Okay. Parnas represented himself as Rudy Giuliani's Ukraine investigators. Here's the court filings. Here's all the evidence, the DOJ. Congressman Stockman developed the evidence, potential whistleblower testimony. The DOJ, prompted by FISA surveillance, quickly indicted and arrested him for campaign finance violations. Similarly, when Lev Parnas, also under FISA surveillance, obtained the same information and allegedly conveyed it to Rudy Giuliani as a member of the legal team, he too was swiftly indicted and arrested for campaign finance violations. I've been in contact with Congressman Stockman, who has agreed to cooperate as President Trump deems necessary, and in fact did. Ladies and gentlemen, you're now hearing for the first time that there's been a long time investigation going on. All right? Long time. You heard about Space Force. You heard about the investigation here. Everything documented, crossing T's, dotting I's, legal documents provided, receipts, everything. Stockman letter, this brief here, let's see. I engaged in several secure conversations with Congressman Stockman. In these discussions, he expressed the following, all right? So this entire briefing was delivered to President Trump, okay? Let me see. These documents suggest that Schiff had access to the information. Here it is. In court for Lev Parnas's trial, his indictment, he was indicted for campaign finance violations. Get this, ladies and gentlemen, okay? We were hoping that in that transcript, the attorneys would have been able to reveal to the public, as a result of the transcribed calls, right, of Lev Parnas, they were going to ask for all of the recordings that were made that would have indicated that Rudy Giuliani was talking to President Trump and Lev Parnas's FISA warrant was recording it all. The DOJ was listening to all of those telephone calls. But what they said was, well, we don't need those calls. He was on a FISA warrant, but we're not prosecuting him for anything that's on those telephone calls. We are prosecuting him for campaign finance violations. He forgot to lick a stamp properly and transmitted it, so we're going to send him to jail for 10 years. Lev Parnas was flipped through that process. He was released and came out and started campaigning for Joe Biden. Isn't that interesting? So we have them nailed. The deep state knew about it. Why do you think they overthrew President Trump in 2020? We're talking about, 2019 when those calls were taking place, right? Because President Trump had the goods. They had to do everything to stop President Trump because he was right in the middle of investigating Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama using Iran as a proxy. You got me? You guys got me. The Iranian Revolution. Now we have word, of course, late breaking news here. It's now 11 p.m. 2C TV putting out that there have been sightings of people in burqas showing up in Moscow for whatever that's worth. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, we have those receipts. Let me also share with you one other thing. This has to be redacted. I cannot share with you. Let me just make sure that the person's name is not on here, because this is the next thing that happened, okay? As soon as President Trump was sworn in, okay, and I'm going to show you the date of this communication right here, and you're going to understand what happened as soon as he was sworn in. Boom. Not sworn in. Elected, not sworn in. Let me get to this. Here it is. All this information was blocked. People were arrested. Rudy Giuliani was, obviously, you saw what happened to him. It hasn't stopped him, trust me, okay, at all. On 11/19 of 2024, I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna say it emotionally. Whoever it was that voted for and you could be a Democrat, or I don't care who you are. If you voted for President Trump and pushed him across the finish line, although the entire election system is screwed up, getting that man in office and pushing him across the finish line, I want you to know that within days from November 4th, okay, this briefing was delivered to President Trump, okay, by a person that shall remain nameless at the highest levels of President Trump's transition team, okay? Boris Epstein, President Trump's attorney, and it's all provided for with documentary proof, okay? President Trump's House counsel was delivered all this information, all legal documents, all the stuff about Hillary Clinton. Around June of 2021, I made initial contact with Boris Epstein to schedule him for an interview. At that time, I was assisting attorney John Pierce through several email exchanges, and I provided all of the email correspondence to President Trump's attorney, okay, and communicated with President Trump's attorney directly. And it never made it to President Trump. We have gatekeepers out there, but when President Trump's top attorney was gatekeeping, that's a national security thing, especially as it relates to providing materials for Iran's nuclear program. Does everybody agree? I want you guys to tell me that that's a really, 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 really bad thing. Tell me that you understand that. You don't need, are we 5x5? We got any issues? I heard they're letting Tina Peters out. You heard that. We have had that confirmed. We don't know that yet. But do you guys agree that it's a bad thing when I provide national security related information from Congressman Steve Stockman with receipts to the Department of Treasury of Hillary Clinton providing materials for Iran's nuclear program, and it doesn't make it to President Trump and was blocked by his attorney? That's a really bad thing, is it not? Incredibly bad. Well, guess what? We not only caught him, but ladies and gentlemen, your favorite talk show host, me, okay? Your favorite ball-busting talk show host, me, right? That's why you're tuned in. And if you're just dropping in, everyone else has their favorite talk show host, and they know that I cannot be compromised, and I document everything. And I'm the biggest freaking legal nightmare on anyone's planet. And Boris Epstein dropped the ball. I had all the email correspondence. And when President Trump was brought in on his transition team, that Boris Epstein was brought in for an interrogation by President Trump's National Security Council attorneys, and he could have gone to jail, okay, for a major national security issue. But as it works out, I will say this, that he passed muster, that he is basically, we just chalk it up to this, I can say this, it wasn't nefarious, he's incompetent. Okay, there you go. So, is he still part of President Trump's team in some capacity? Sure. He's not an evil person. I think he had notes and they proved it up. I don't know about that. But if Boris Epstein was an evil person, they would have known it because they sat him down and put him through the grinder. But President Trump knew everything, and brought Boris Epstein in, put his head in the freaking National Security Council legal noose. He would have gone to jail for a long, long time. He didn't, okay? Boris Epstein was also notified about election fraud in Arizona and Kari Lake's case, a whole bunch of things. I mean, it was an absolute nightmare. But President Trump was briefed on all of this, okay? He was briefed and was well aware of the spying on his campaign. He was well aware of Hillary Clinton. It's all right. First of all, I need to have this discussion with you. When you go back onto the internet after leaving this show and you start hearing everybody say, oh, President Trump, he's operating at the behest of Netanyahu. It's all the Jews in Iran and beep, 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 beep. You know, when you start hearing that, that's disrespectful to President Trump's investigation for many years, okay? President Trump is in charge of this thing. It's not the Jews. If anything, he picks up the phone and calls Netanyahu and says, hey, can you verify the freaking shipment of steel? You know, they're a great intelligence resource. Do you have in your database any telephone calls between Hillary Clinton and they're vetting this with Israel. Israel is helping to vet all this information at the behest of President Trump. Israel and Netanyahu are working for Trump. Do you understand that? Do you guys understand that? The Jew haters or something. It's not, they're crazy. You guys have more information right now. You have documented legal proof that President Trump is in charge of everything happening in Iran. And it's not the Jews that are, and it's not Iran for that matter, that has a nuclear program. It's Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton building up a freaking nuclear base, okay? Dressed up like a mullah on behalf of the Muslim Brotherhood. You guys understand that? And what are they planning to do? Take out the Jews and take out the Christians. You know they're trying to take out the Christians. Look at Iran. If you're a Christian in Iran, you get your freaking head chopped off. They're done with that, okay? Here it is. Once again, when I say Millie Weaver, all right, an investigation that Millie Weaver was involved in 2020. Millie infiltrated the Marxist NGOs who were not only plotting lawfare against President Trump. Fonnie Willis was specifically named as one of their covert operatives. They were also openly discussing the overthrow of the U.S. government on Zoom calls, okay? Millie Weaver, Gavin Wentz, and myself, and a select few trusted people, which is nobody, we don't trust anybody, have been involved in this investigation with forensic evidence of the Marxists within the government of the United States of America, active, that were on Zoom calls plotting to overthrow the U.S. government. That was January 6th. This was in advance of January 6th. Do you understand that? Do you understand what I just said? That was presented to Boris Epstein. He dropped the ball on that one, too. Oof, what a coincidence. That briefing was provided to President Donald J. Trump during the transition. Boris Epstein was brought in. All the documentation was packaged up. The new administration, before it even was sworn in on January 20th, was well on its way to making sure that Space Force provided communications and blocked the freaking CIA. That Elon Musk was going to launch satellites. I mean, look at how quick it happened. How quickly did the Starlink sites get activated? Right away, all right? As long as the CIA was not working as they did in 2009 during the Green Revolution, Hillary Clinton's State Department was delivering proxies so they could communicate freely on Twitter. No, Twitter was a freaking government spying operation that Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama were using to do what? Ladies and gentlemen, in 2009, I have personal firsthand knowledge that the U.S. State Department and the CIA, you know, I didn't work directly with the CIA. I was working with the State Department people. They were saying, oh, we're sending the proxies to the freedom fighters. And we were technical gurus that could get them out on the internet without, you know, being detected, do it anonymously with an anonymous handle on Twitter, right? They were using anonymous handles on Twitter. No faces, just cartoons. But the CIA and the State Department had their IP addresses. Twitter was providing that to the CIA. And they had their exact geolocation. And one day, on behalf of the Iranian government, they had access to their cell phone towers. They identified the precise location within 3 meters. And they started shooting everybody. Boof, 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 boof. And it wiped out the Green Revolution. And it was Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama that had those people shot and killed on behalf of Khomeini. And I was directly involved in it. That's when I turned on the Obama administration on Twitter, and I had my account deleted. And I was suspended for years. It wasn't given back to me. I was one of the first ones to reach 100,000 subscribers. But these are absolute facts. All of this information has been passed on as part of the grand conspiracy case that President Trump's DOJ is working out of Florida. John Brennan, James Comey, Hillary Clinton, Barack Obama, Joe Biden, all of them are, I'm speculating here, I haven't been told this, but I do know that my information was passed on through Lindsay Halligan, who's the U.S. attorney that indicted Comey. That's what set it off. I provided everything to get Comey put away forever. And then what did they do? They fired her, dismissed Comey, and everything went down to Florida. There's nothing that is going to stop all of these people from being brought up for, I'm going to have to say, the court system is too corrupt. They're going to have to be brought up for a military tribunal. Does everyone agree with that? That they should be brought up for military tribunals? It's going to happen. It's taken a long time. You got to build the evidence. Snipers taking out, let's go to the live feed, okay? We're getting information right now. Let's check out the live feed as we will. I'm going to go to 2C TV and see what they're reporting because they've been pretty good thus far. Snipers taking out, of course, that's going to happen. 2C TV. Let's see if they've got a live feed right now. Notify me. No, I'm going to go to their channel. They're doing such a good job. And they know how to speak Farsi, so they can translate stuff. That's very, very, very important, okay? Let me go and see if they have a live feed. Do they have a live feed? Breaking. Notify me. No. Does it? Does not show. Okay. Right. Okay, I cannot confirm. It's probably delayed information because of the internet shutdown. I love 2C
Hello,
TV.
ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to 2C TV.
Yep.
This is your global news channel. I'm Maya 2C, and we are now at the final battle in Iran. The final battle against the Islamic occupation, and the final battle.
He's providing great reports. And again, I'm going to recommend you, if you go to YouTube, he's doing an outstanding job. He translates in Farsi. He can actually hear real-time conversations. People that are shouting stuff out in the streets, he's translating it. They're saying this, they're saying this. So when you get a clip like this, he can validate that it's recent and what they're saying. So Tousi, Tousi TV. I am not rebroadcasting this with permission. I'm not, but this is vital information, okay? So I'm advocating for him as a source, and I've already reached out to him. I just haven't gotten, final confirmation here, all right? Let me just go to this, play a short clip.
تا حد امکان از مسیرهای مختلف به سوی بخش‌های مرکزی‌تر شهر.
Now, that is, as I can tell you, that is Pahlavi, right? The Shah of Iran's son from 1979 that was overthrown, all right? And he's calling for the protests, and he's leading, and the people are advocating for his return, all right? They're advocating for his return. Let me go to the X feed, all right? I don't want, because I don't have his permission, I just want to be, I want to be professional is the word I'm saying. So we will get professional courtesy and permission. Let me go to the Iran bookmark feed. Nothing in there as of yet, so let me skim through. We've already covered that. We got a report here. Watch this one. Breaking report says the armed wing of the group SM carried out an attack on Iranian Revolutionary Guard military base in the city of Noorabad in Iran. Yeah, people are going to die, folks, okay? They are. They are going to die. No doubt about it. But the very courageous people of Iran are not afraid to die in this revolution 2026. Revolution of 2026. There we go. Let's continue on. Look at the feed. Let's back up and take a look at the live feed because Iran Revolutionary live with Iranian hosts. Oh, okay. Enrique, is Alex Jones on? Alex Jones isn't popping out live, but he will be. Alex Jones has been briefed on all of this stuff, you guys. I anticipate once he wraps his arms around this thing, that I will be covering this on InfoWars. I'll be sending him a link to this. Hopefully he's catching this. A lot of information to unpack, and I can't do. I have to do a much more concise presentation on InfoWars because of limited time. I hope they set your beard on fire. Look at those beautiful people wrapped up like freaking communist mummies. And they pretend, with a religion. They got their fake pedophile-led religion, Muhammad, that is. The prophet, prophet. He's a freaking pedophile. Saying that Allah, that fake God, all right, tells them that they have to wrap their heads in a freaking rag. And they're done with that. Really? Yeah. You're done, you filthy pig. Okay? Tell Hillary Clinton I said hello. Mm-hmm. Here is the imagery of the shutdown. They've shut down the internet. And you can obviously see the area that is shut down surrounding. See that entire blackened area. No internet, no phone, right? Very dramatic imagery that a lot of it is, believe it or not, is war propaganda. You know, they want to, of course, seek the sympathy. This one is beautiful, though, okay? An elderly Iranian woman cries out after a regime projectile struck her face. And she said, I am not afraid. I'm not afraid. I've been dead for 47 years. Here she is. By the way, this is the kind of crap I want to encourage. I want to encourage everybody. Of course, help me reach more people on YouTube, because all those dumbed down freaking feeders of content, you know, your force fed information. Like when a guy nares the hairs off of his anus because he's having homosexual sex, that gets 5 million views. They put that on blast because that's what YouTube is. They're, you know, on the weekends they're cramming, you know, stuff into their backside unnaturally. So you know, but God forbid if I were to put something graphic on the screen, they want to pretend like they're your nanny and protect you from graphic imagery. Yeah, while they're doing crazy sexually deviant stuff during their off-duty hours. But I need help in reaching people on YouTube. If you could, the best way to get to YouTube, go to WKRPete.com. There's a button there to subscribe to YouTube. That helps me reach more people because, you know, this is the first broadcast, so we'll have very few people. I need to be able to reach people on YouTube because a whole bunch of them are being told that it's all about the Jews, because that's what the YouTube platform is all about. It's about, you know, it's, I don't know what it is, but they all say, oh, it's Jews. They just regurgitate a bunch of bull crap, all right? And then the poor hosts can't even speak. They're like, you know, I saw Steve Lookner over at Agenda Free News, okay? He couldn't even show the Minnesota video because he says, I'm not going to show that video because they will shut me down, and I just... Well, why even broadcast over there? If they shut me down, I will have reached you, and then if they shut me down, go to WKRP.com. You'll be able to find all of our links, okay? The only reason why I'm on YouTube is if I find one person, we can rescue them and get them off of that god-awful platform. I will not water my speech down for a bunch of freaking sexual deviants. And they're transcribing me. They're going to shut me down. Will I make it one episode? I will not self-censor for a bunch of freaking homos, okay? I will not. They don't run this freaking joint. We do. Here's President Trump.
You know, just God bless them. I just hope the protesters in Iran are going to be safe, because it's a very dangerous place right now. And again, I tell the Iranian leaders, you better not start shooting, because we'll start shooting too. Straight.
Okay. Now, that man, you know, up to this point, I'm going to wrap things up here. I don't know how long I've been on. I didn't want to set a time limit. I did want to... I wanted to deliver information to you that's going to be coming out. But that man, do you now know that he has been briefed on who has been using Iran as a freaking terrorist base camp? In the next video, probably tomorrow, if I've got enough, I'm going to be broadcasting tomorrow. And when news breaks, we're now at the 11:35 p.m. hour in Tehran, 11:35 p.m. But if news breaks, we will break in. I want you to follow us on all of our channels. This particular, I need to ask everybody if you're not on our text alerts. I sent out one. This was really important that I get this out. Really important. You guys agree? I'm going to ask you guys in the chat room. Whoever received a text alert, do you agree this was an important reason to broadcast this? Do we have boots on the ground in Iran? I don't know. I don't know. Was it important enough that one text message something major happens, what's the number to text again? Here it is. Text LFA to 833-893-3669, or you can scan that QR code. Get on our text alerts. You'll probably get, this is one, okay? It's not the whole world's falling apart. It has been for many years. This is vital enough for me to notify all of our subscribers. Something happens, you'll get a message, maybe 2 or 3. I will send it out. Your stuff doesn't go anywhere. You're not going to be spammed, okay? You will not be spammed. I can promise you that, all right? So get on our text alert system. Text LFA to 833-893-3669. Scan that QR code. And that'll take you, it'll pre-populate it. You just click send. No need to learn how to or know how to do text messaging, okay? Let me continue on here, all right, by stating as follows. President Trump, sorry about that. President Trump, that man right there, has been briefed. He's been working behind the scenes on all of our behalf. Is it about oil? You know, don't fall short. You could come up with your little Maoist counterclaim to us crushing the freaking globalist oligarchy, okay? Is it about oil? Well, you know, it was about oil in Venezuela for the communists, and all the money went to the communists, right? It was about oil, wasn't it? Hugo Chavez took over the oil. How come nobody said, oh, he took over because it's all about the oil? They didn't do that, did they? No, they didn't. They didn't complain like crazy, attacking Hugo Chavez as they are President Trump about the oil. Every time he moves, it's about the oil. Yes, it's about the oil. Drill, baby, drill here in the U.S. It's all about the oil. Yes, it is. Yes, right. But we want, I paid $1.15 with my Kroger discount. $1.15 per gallon. It's all about the oil for me, okay? Biden didn't do that. I paid $4.50 with Biden. Now I pay $1.11. It's all about the oil. He wants the oil to be drilled and the benefits to go to the people. He's proving it. Venezuela, he wants Maduro to be out, oil companies to go in, and the people to get their wealth back in natural resources. They're the most oil-rich country on the planet, above and beyond even Saudi Arabia. President Trump says, if anybody's got a problem with that, we'll sell you some oil, right? And it's all going to be purchased with the U.S. dollar. We're saving the petrodollar. Saudi Arabia, he met with Mohammed bin Salman. You got people on the internet that are saying, oh, my goodness, President Trump is aligning with the and he shot Khashoggi. And these are for Republicans doing that, okay? Republicans. You got Tucker Carlson is being broadcast by Iranian TV, okay? Government TV. What does that tell you about who Tucker Carlson's working for? And he just so articulate and intellectual. How he says, we are not going to be in forever wars. And we're just not going to, I'm just not going to stand that. I'm not going to let that happen. I'm a free man, so I'm going to move to Qatar, where I can be free under Sharia law. Frickin' cocksucker. Am I going to be booted because over at YouTube because they don't want you to be hearing offensive language like cocksucking, although they do that on the weekends. You know what I mean? What's so hilarious. Like, you can't cuss over there. So stupid. I'm not going to last a freaking one show. I won't. Will I? Why am I even over there? I will not self-censor. I will not. I'm not going to, for the sake of reaching people. Seriously, what kind of people are over there anyway? If that's all you're listening to is a bunch of freaking sanitized language, Are those the people that we want to bring over here for an awakening? I mean, it's like getting a bunch of freaking retards. You know what I mean? I mean, generally, the people that watch the Nair videos and stuff, we could save one soul or two souls, but the bottom line is, I'm not. If they shut me down, I'm not. That's it. I'm done with them. Those people are not worth saving over there if they're just going to sit over there and listen to Steve Lookiner, who's a great guy, but I just was listening to him last night, and he says, I'm not going to show you the video of the shooting, which proves unequivocally that the guy got run over and he shot the girl in self-defense. I'm not going to show it to you because YouTube will not let me do that. I'm just not going to risk it. Oh, okay. You're serving an audience of freaking dum-dums, okay? They're letting you get away with not showing the proof because of YouTube and your business. No, I will. My business is delivering the truth. Speaking of business, can I do a cheap shameless plug real quick? Check this out. You want to know something? Here's how you can support us. I'm just on my way out. I'm going to do this. I didn't come here to sell anything. Straight news. You can go to PistolPetesHotSauces.com. Buy hot sauces. This is ours. I'm Pistol Pete. I developed a brand. The reason why I thought about this is because, YouTube demonetized us because I said ivermectin. And, and prior to that, they called me a terrorist. They did all these things. And I said, screw you. I'm going to make my own stuff. Okay? And we got two great products. One is, here, we'll show you. One is Pistol Pete's Jerky. Go to pistolpetesjerky.com. Buy a packet of jerky, right? And then you can go to that same website and buy some hot sauces. Help support us. And it's ours. And I'm Pistol Pete, all right? Ladies and gentlemen, that's going to conclude this broadcast temporarily, all right? Again, I said, please subscribe to our text messaging. You saw that. Do that. Support us however you can. We'll be independent. Have I done the work just to justify and be worthy of your economic support? Costs money to do all this stuff, to keep lights on, and over the years to do investigative work. And man, oh man, have we established credibility that we cannot be compromised? And have we also established with you, ladies and gentlemen, that we have gotten the right information to the greatest president, I'm watching him work right now, based on what I'm seeing him do. The greatest president that the entire world will benefit from in our entire history. So help me God. You know what they say? Like, subscribe, all that stuff. Please do it. It helps us. We got to reach more people. It's not what I'm here for, though. If I sit off in the corner all by myself, I'm going to make sure that my focus is on getting Hillary Clinton to the steps of the gallows. But I want Barack Obama to go first so she can watch that frickin' Momo swinging. And then she's going to think she's next, like a hog in the trough at the slaughter factory. And we're going to say, oh, just kidding. And then we're going to stick her in a cage in Guantanamo Bay and pump the Pete Santilli show. I want that as part of her sentence, that we pump in a live feed 24/7 of the Pete Santilli show into Guantanamo. Let's keep her alive and let's torture that fat, levitating biatch.